Okay, going back to my main base. So, at the end of the last one, we started producing the blue science, and indeed, we are producing blue science at a nice clip. And let me check to make sure that I don't have any creative mod test related things turned on. They're all off. That's good. Before I start thinking about military science, which is next, the big challenge at the end of the last episode was this. Our train stations for injecting materials from creative mod into the factory were severely congested. This is because those train stations were loading at one blue belt per cargo wagon, which is 2,700 per minute, and we have some resources like advanced circuits where they stack to 200. This takes 3 minutes to load a cargo wagon, and I believe that our consumers of red circuits are all using single wagon trains, which means that all of our red circuits from creative mod are coming in through one loader for one wagon in that station. Now, we patched it. I built a second station. I went to 2 mines, loading the wagons, and I expanded the amount of trains that can be going into each source station, but that's just a patch. The problem is that for any material that I want to source into the mega factory rapidly, I need all consumers of it to use longer trains so that they don't take a whole lot of time at the source station. And this will happen even in the real sources. I don't want my loading station to be sitting there loading up one cargo wagon when it's got the ability to load 4. Which means any of these guys that have high rates coming into the total need to be on a 4 train. So let's start from the leftmost factory. I am going to have to rework the train stations here so that anything that is high rate needs to be a 4. And then depending on the factory, we will work it out. So the other thing I want to do is move the fuel train. If we're just using a train to deliver fuel as fuel for other trains, like we're doing here, it doesn't need to have 2 trains. It only needs 1. So we're going to rework that a little bit. And that means I also want to rework my loading stations here. And this is unfortunate because I have a lot of loading stations. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down further. Hello, Pax Train. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So grid to grid. 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's a grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a grid marker here. So off to the left here, this is where I'm going to put my new loading stations. I'm going to have to move my pack station. This is unfortunate. I'm going to start by just getting rid of it. I will build a new pack station somewhere. So Pax Mall, and return that, get rid of that guy, and we're just going to remove all of this. So today's topic is going to be rebuilding the loading stations to the left of this marker for a standard grid size. Do I have a handy dandy grid thingy here? Game blueprints. blah, blah. I don't believe I do. So in my blueprints, I have all of these, and there's a coded boundary. I want to use that. What I want to do is I want to have just the rail across the top. So let's go snap that. Since, yeah, this is all before I made the blueprints for the off-ramp and on-ramp, so we'll rework it. We're going to have to rework all of these guys. We may just rip them up and rework it from scratch. So, here to here, there is my full grid. And for my infinite supply trains, I want more parking, which means I'm going to move the on-ramp and off-ramp out. So those are going to go one further away each direction, giving me a little extra space. I want all of that space. Notice I got a little bit more. I'm going to take a lot more. So that's where I want to put it. I'm going to move the on-ramp and off-ramp. This is going away. This is where I want the on-ramp. Right there. Question. Can I do this? Yes, this barely covers. Can't put it there. I can put it there. So this parking area will be going away as I set up this guy. First station is going to be packs. Now off-ramp, I want an off-ramp as far to the left as possible. We will see how much space that gives us. And I want just enough space over here. I'll do a fuel station and a pack station just right here. I need enough space for a 4-train. Well, we just happen to have a convenient layout right here. How about that? I will be modifying the loaders massively. I think in these stations I'm going to go ahead and use six loaders wide. I still want to pack them in really tight. So here is my basic station, and we're going to kill off these guys. So as we light up stations, we'll decide what we're doing, and then I will replicate these across, facing up. That's as close as I can pack it. And that leaves me ragged. That's fine, I can patch that up as we go down. Oh, this is test stuff, so let's go ahead and turn on instant request and trash while I'm building this. So the first station is packs. Oh, I'm going to have to work out what these look like. So this is going to be... just do a question mark there. Oh, and I need power. Oh, I forgot power. Yeah, power is going to limit these. Okay, let's work this out again. That should be enough stations to think about how I'm going to do power. So if I bring it down on grid, it would be there. The second grid would be right there. And this exactly hits all of our cars. So one thing I could do would be to put it here and just simply say that one of the cars is going to have a slightly lower rate here. And this guy, let's move these over to like here. Oh, we're going to have fuel coming in here somewhere too. So I need to work out fuel, and I need to work out where to put this prototype. Fuel. Fuel is going to be a box, inserter, and that. And we're going to bring fuel down just like that. So is this... Okay, that is as far as we stretch, which means that if we want everything on these centers, we need it here, and we need it here. This is fine. Okay, and how far down do we go? So this will actually be, we're actually asking for fuel to come in here. We're not supplying it infinitely. Oh, you fool. Haha. We do not need to do that because this is the infinite supply that we're starting with. So this is where I am placing my fuel source for trains. So train fuel. And here is packs. So this is packs. This is packs test. I'm going to emphasize that when everything is said and done, when the factory is built, we are going to cut this and it's going away. So now let's build downward. Figure out how far down we can put our power. This would be the maximum, so this train station is the one that is getting a little bit of a haircut. So given that, I want to clip here. Okay. We have... Why is that not showing me? It's not showing me my rail stuff. I must have turned that off. Hold on. Settings. Interface. Yeah, I turned off all of these to help with the graphics, thinking I was turning off the other thing. Yeah. Okay, so now I can confirm that these blocks are separate from these blocks. Yay! And we've got a chain signal here, a chain signal here, and a chain signal there, and that gets us back out onto the main area. So, on-ramp, off-ramp, excuse me, off-ramp here. This off-ramp is for this station, which is my PAX station. And let us set the color properly. Boom, boom, boom. And let us bring the PAX train down. So PAX Mall, this is going to add PAX Test. Again, wait until I manually trigger it. And for some reason, it doesn't want to come down to PAX Test. So why would it not want to come down here? Where's my PAX test? So why can this guy not go to the station? Manual, delete him, delete him. We're pathing okay. Something wonky in here. Oh, destination full. Enable train limit. Right. Yeah, silly of me. Okay, so there's fuel. We need to copy the fuel down. So this is some kind of supply. We're going to do a train limit of 3. I think we're going to we'll see what the train limit is when we get there. Okay, so one train length of parking is from here to here. Four train lengths will be out to there. So 3 train lengths gives us a little bit of extra room. That's fine. And I'm going to back this up. Oh. 4 train lengths. If that fits. Yes, it does. So do from there to there. Just like that. Okay. So these are all going to be train limit 4. Now, before I start committing to what I'm going to be putting here, I am going to go ahead and add the other sciences to this so we can figure out exactly what it is that we want here and maybe what we want on the next level up. Military science, green science, and red science. So one side effect of this factory going to be that once I get these laid out, for any future factory, I can take this information from this factory, including the aggregate production rates of everything along the chain as observed, including things like how many trains I'm using and so on, and I can scale it up or down. So this will become a reference factory for me. Okay, so Blue, he's making his own on-site engines, pipes, and gear wheels, and we've already done that. We're going to mark him done. Military science. He's going to make these on site. And that'll work. So his inputs are, yes, that shows his inputs, and he is going to need to be making those on site as well. See, move down is shift left click. So I'm thinking of arranging this much like I arranged the chemical science, where I have several columns of the science pack, and each column above that is going to be the major ingredient, and then off to the side I'll put these guys. In blue I put them at the top. These require a little bit more complexity. I'm going to delete these here. I will go ahead and put them in the factory, but I'll leave them out to give you my scale, which is 1, 3, 1. Makes it easier. I'm going to delete these as well, because we're going to have 2 grenade factories at the top of each column. And I will probably put speed modules in these guys, but I won't need them. Okay, so there's our military science. Now, green science, obviously we're going to just make these online. I do not want to be bringing in trains for a little bit of cargo belts and inserters. Just do those. And as before, so see, even without modulating like half a machine and one machine, yeah, it's all. This is going to be a dead simple build, 13 machines here. What I'll probably do is 2 columns of 7 with a pair of these at the top, just like I did the engines. To the top. And red is our simplest possible science. Cancel. What did it just do? Linearly dependent recipes detected. Is that because somebody else has gear wheels? Go back to traditional for this. Yeah. Okay, so there's something weird about the matrix for this particular thing. Maybe somebody else is using gears. Right. Well, let's make our own gears on site here and import the green chips. So now if we go back to matrix, oops, cancel. No, I don't know what the matrix means by linearly dependent on the gears there. So 2 columns of 6, 1 gear machine on each. Yeah. So real simple build here, trivial build here. Yeah, okay. So for this, okay, this is all in this row. So the next row up has all of this stuff. What I wish I could do would be to collapse all these together in a sub-factory and then build a different sub-factory that produces into this whole thing. I am sure that it's possible to do this. I just don't know how to do it. So is it possible for me to build a new layer? Now in the assembly layer, I also need to include the stuff from the rocket. Oh, I forgot the stuff from the rocket. So we're going to have another rocket layer. So rocket layer, we are going to go to the top. Oops. Icon for these need icons. These definitely need icons. Rocket. There we go. And we need to put this up to the top. Control Alt left click. Okay, so rocket layer is producing science packs in the amount of 1,000 per minute. This uses 2 rocket silos, and I have them all beaconed, yada yada, bling blang, and so on. I only use 6 of those, and that's fine. Actually use 6, because if I use less than that, the downtime of the rocket silo gets me. So this guy is importing these 3, but I am building satellites on deck here. I am building solar panels and accumulators and radar on deck here. I'm building gear wheels here. But the rest of this I really want to import from the assembly layer and the raw materials layer. Now the assembly layer, the icon is assembly machine. Science layer, the icon is, I gotta do, oops, no, that's the one kind of science I don't do. There we go. How about we use these science labs? We're not actually the labs here. We are just these guys. In the rocket layer, we have completed all of this. So I'm pretty sure we're not importing gear wheels. Are we importing gear wheels? No, we're building gears. Yay! That would have been weird. So our imports are these major parts and these minor parts and these raw materials. So I have minor parts, major parts, and raw materials. I may put the major and minor together. So how do I make the inputs? I want to take the ingredients from each one of these and make them linked to another layer below it, which is supplying all of them. I think I just have to do it manually. Yeah, this doesn't give me a way to say provide the ingredients for a machine above it. So I think what I'll have to do is actually just one at a time look at the rocket layer and the science layer and pick out what ingredients I want to do next. And below the assembly layer, I'm going to have the smelter layer. So the assembly layer, I'm going to do everything that isn't smelted, basically. Got it. I'll just string it all out, And then above that I'll have the smelting layer, so plus. And, oops, icon. Icon is a electric furnace, submit. So everything I smelt is going to go down the smelting layer. And oil will be in this layer, I think. That makes sense because we'll bring in our crude oil and our water. Well, water is going to come from the wells, so I'll bring in the crude oil the same way I bring in the raw materials. So the crude oil will come into the smelting layer. I'll probably move the oil off to the right, but it'll be at the same level. Okay, there we go. So what this comes down to is what things do I want in this particular thing, and do I want to have this track come down and feed there? And the answer is yes. I want this track to come down and feed this guy, and it will feed both of these down here. So all of this stuff needs to come up above. So one at a time. What are my heavy hitters? Well, I've got RCUs and low density structures and bulk rocket fuel. So let's do those first. And if I'm going to do those, I need to go down and set up the links to the track. And what's my opportunity for doing that is not a lot right now. Ugh. Oh, I need to have it come down right here. Okay, so I guess let's reserve the space here and don't bring it down until I'm ready. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so LDS and yeah, okay. We'll set up the stations, and that'll be it. So the highest volume thing is low density structures, 814, and they only stack to 10. And this guy uses 814 of them. The science layer also uses like 714 of them separately. So we are going to have an immense amount of LDSs coming through. In terms of wagons per minute, we've got 2 wagons per minute going to science and 2 wagons per minute, so 4 wagons per minute. So yeah, this is going to be a challenge, but let's set it up. This one is a low density structure source. Train limit of 4, and it uses low density structures. And I am going to start ditching these as I get this set up. Okay, I need to set these up so that I always have some. There. And we can get rid of them where they're not facing anywhere so we don't end up with parts spilling out on the ground. There. And none of these are working! Fuck. Oh man. Maybe it's not doing it because there's no train there. Oh, come on. This guy. Add station. Where did my test station go? These are not filling. Can insert the vehicles in front. I wonder if I can just... That works. Okay, I have a new strategy for making my stations. Of course, just laying them out like that doesn't work either. So I have to place them manually. And I think what I'm going to do to make this easier is put some lights in. Just like that. I'm going to think a bit. I'll be back in a moment. Pausing. Okay, paused, petted the cat, thought about this. Yeah, I'm going to drop the lamps in like that, and then just manually put the things on. So there we go. And these guys are going to fill up real quick. So we now have this, and we can change this back to normal, and change this back to the normal. Okay. Which means my general station looks like this, which I now drop in place. And there we have it. And that switches over the LDS station, which I can now get rid of from here. So all the LDS trains are going to come over here now. well, all the LDS trains from the top area are going to come over here. And currently we are still producing. Yay! Haven't broken anything yet. So that means that assembly layer, we need to assemble LDSs. And the total we need are 2036 plus 1786. I need a calculator. Oh, and if any of this stuff ever changes, I am so screwed. So let's look at that again. The rocket layer will need 20. Oh, that's in wagons per minute. We're going to do items per minute. 814 plus 0.3. And the science layer needs plus 714.3. That sounds an awful lot like it's including white science. But I know it's going to yellow. Yeah. Is it just coincidence that we use exactly the same amount for white science as for to make the rocket as we do for yellow science? They must have balanced it that way. Anyway, that adds up to a total of where do we go? LDSs. Total of 1528.6 that we're going to build here, which is half a belt, a little over half a belt, and it is 4 wagons a minute. So that's LDSs. The next thing we want to build is, let's see, how about RCUs? Doing these in order of wagons per minute. RCUs and rocket fuel are both 1.7, 1.9. We don't need them for the science layer. So we'll just do RCUs next. 1786. 1786 RCUs. And let's put it in here. We won't have any trains using this at the moment. We only have one train. Oh, we have a train with the question mark stop. Because I reworked this, so this is supposed to be PAX PAX test. I must have replaced him. S T. I am fumbling. There. And this train, add station, PAX test, wake condition, circuit condition, go to PAX test, please. Okay, so these have no stops. This is now going to be a RCU stop. Let's not set the stop until we're ready. This will be RCUs. sure I have no RCUs in my inventory. And now we can go. And this is RCUs. Like that. And now we can scan down here for the RCU section. And it's only used for white science, which means that that train can't reach here yet. So they will continue to use the other station. Now, along those same lines, let's pick up the rocket fuel. So we need 1911, and we're going to need a bunch of rocket fuel for normal, just use them for trains. So we're going to need a huge amount more rocket fuel. I am going to overbuild rocket fuel because I have no idea how much we're going to need. We do not need rocket fuel for other science, so 1911 is what we need for others. So rocket fuel in the amount of 1911 per minute. So how many belts is that? That's 7/10. So let's do 2 full belts of rocket fuel. Can we do that? Well, this is 124 machines already. Linearly dependent recipes. I'm gonna leave it on this until we have a reason to need more. Come on. So if I go 2700 here, so I'm taking an entire blue belt of rocket fuel. No doubt this is going to be crazy overbuild. This is going to need quite a lot of solid fuel. We're going to do solid fuel needs to be made in the right place. This is 10 wagons a minute. This is multiple 4-wide trains a minute. Rocket fuel needs to come directly from my refinery build. So we are not putting rocket fuel in this area. Rocket fuel goes up above us. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. We may need top-level refinery stuff just to turn out massive amounts of rocket fuel. So let's actually set up a new layer for that. This is just rocket fuel. And what I'm going to do is all of my petroleum is going to be in the rocket fuel, and all of the other things that aren't rocket fuel that come out of oil are going to be byproducts of this guy. And let's move him up. So, oh, no. Leave him at the bottom because every factory here is going to depend on what's above it. Rocket fuel may use stuff from the smelting layer, so let's see. Move up is control left click. There we go. So the rocket fuel might take things from the smelting layer, but it'll be used by everybody, so rocket fuel is actually going to be... It's going to be inside the smelting layer, isn't it? It is. It's going to be inside, but it's going to be picking off of the smelting layer line along with producing to it. This is going to be tricky. Let's assume that our product here is going to be a massive amount of rocket fuel. This is going to require a matrix. Matrix solver inactive. Make sure there's only one recipe per product. So part of the joy of a matrix is that you can have multiple products coming together. Matrix does not need additional configuration. So the matrix solver can deal with loops and byproducts, but sometimes needs additional configuration. So I will have to use some other planner to plan out the rocket fuel factory that has all the other byproducts of it. Yuck. Because we're going to make some things from solid fuel and some things from not. Some from one and some from the other. I will work those out when the time comes to build it. But this is a lot. Yeah. So rear view mirror that. Rocket fuel will come from elsewhere. We have blue chips and red chips and green chips and batteries. Batteries are going to be a byproduct of the rocket fuel. We'll figure that out. Oh, I can't add byproducts. I can only add products. Okay. Fine. 500 batteries per minute there. And none there. So all we have left here are the chips and the chips. We are getting rid of the rocket fuel from the assembly layer. We are going to put in various chips. Blue. Oh, how many? 100, and so it's 576.2. Okay, and we're going to need some more. Oops. No doubt we will be moving these left and right like crazy. Red science. We don't need any red there. We do need 3452 red there. So we go in here and we have red science 3452. And notice when we do that, we're going to get a lot more. And green, we need 1525, 525, and in the science layer we need 1905 plus 1905 is 3430. There. So there's our stuff. So that covers the processing units and the electronic circuits and the advanced circuits. Batteries will be in the rocket fuel layer. Rocket fuel's in the rocket fuel layer. We need iron plates and steel, iron, steel, and copper in the smelting layer. So science layer. What else do we need in the assembly layer? Well, we've got processing units, and we need flying robot frames, which are 238.1 flying robot frames. Flying robot frames require green circuits, so we are going to move the robot frames to the left of all of that. So move left is control left click, like that, and control right click is delete, and move up is control left click. So there's that. So that's got our flying robot frames. Boom, boom. Steel is raw materials. Smelter. That's in the assembly layer already. That's the assembly layer already. The sulfur will be coming from the rocket fuel. So let's add that 357 sulfur from the rocket fuel. Okay. $357.1. Okay. Bricks are for the smelting layer. Raw materials and smelting. Okay. The reason why I'm not starting to fill out these is we will have a lot of stuff coming from here. So, what else are we making on site? We are making inside the assembly layer. We have all of these things. We're going to need speed modules, which are going to require green and red chips. Batteries are coming from the rocket fuel area. We need electric engines. Again, there. And these require engine units, like that. Okay, so the assembly layer has all these ingredients coming in. Is there anything else we want in the assembly layer? Not really. So now we go to the rocket fuel layer. And we've already identified rocket fuel, 500 batteries, and 357 sulfur. So batteries, 500 here. The science layer had 357 sulfur here. So this guy has 340 more batteries. That means 840 batteries total. Okay. We need 23,282 plastic bars per minute, so 23282. That is a lot of plastic. It is still a smaller factory than the factory we need for rocket fuel, but I believe it outshines the rest of these. Let's move it up like that. We got that. Boom, boom, boom. Down the way, we need 1822 lubricant. And this says choose a recipe. We are not using the creative tools, we're using the normal one. Okay. So we have lubricant, which needs heavy oil. And then we need sulfuric acid, which is 6614 sulfuric acid. Okay, and we make that. Again, from this water, sulfur, and iron plate. So sulfur needs to go down. Move down is shift left click, like that. I'm thinking that, yeah, batteries and plastic bars, these are all similar. We can push this all the way down to the bottom, like that. Okay. Anything else here from the rocket fuel layer? This is fine. So rocket fuel has all of these inputs. Obviously solid fuel is going to be made here. It's not clear how these are really the outputs that I want here, and I will use another planner which properly handles the advanced oil. Thank you. Choose 2 unrestricted items. Unrestricted items may become byproducts. I don't understand what this means. Okay, that worked. So we're ending up with a huge amount of byproducts here that we're not using. Choose a recipe to consume heavy oil. So the matrix solver can't deal with that. So what this is saying is that we bring in crude. Can we do that? Choose 1 unrestricted item. So far so good. Is it just this simple? So this still hasn't brought in any solid fuel. I didn't see, did that change any of this? So 8.4, 27.1, if I make solid fuel from light, we get that. We are still cracking some. Move down, shift left click, shift left click. This says, heavy oil cracking light oil consumes byproduct. Fine. 1.4K, 73. Oh, right. I've got all the crude oil coming in. I've got an enormous amount of heavy oil that's getting cracked. So far, this has worked out well. I have no excess byproducts. I have no excess inputs. This is good. Okay, this worked. Okay, so the matrix solver does work properly. Once I get everything set up, and it's not white. Okay, I've got traditional solvers here, so you can set this per subfactory, so I can use the matrix solver just for this one subfactory and not worry about it for the other ones. That's fine. This is going to be a very large layout, a very large layout. So we have 42 oil refineries, all of which are beaconed and moduled fairly well. I believe we can get 12 beacons on these guys. We will adjust this as I get to the build. These guys are normal 8 beacon guys, yada yada. Productivity on everything, yay. 108 chemical plants making solid fuel from light fuel. Perfect. And all of this comes together. I believe all of our petroleum gas is being used here for plastic. Massive quantities of plastic coming out of this thing. So I am not even soaking up any petroleum into solid fuel for rocket fuel. He requires 19K, all of which is coming from light fuel. Rather than cracking the light to petroleum. So all of the light that we're cracking to petroleum here is being matched up with this. So 190K, 165, 179. What all are we using? Oh, we're also, yeah, okay. So we have a good balance here. That's perfect. And now we can go talk about our smelting layer. Steel. 500 steel for the rocket, plus 6820 for the science layer, plus 2441 for the assembly layer, and that's all the steel. It's a total of 9,761 steel. Nine, 7, 6, 1. $230 steel smelters. My bots are going to be busy for a while building this sucker. I am being led astray by a cat. Now, I put down some food for her earlier, but she's leading me into the food area where there is food. So, this is all about wet food, isn't it, Lucy? So that's the steel. Yow. And it's quite possible that when I build my steel factory, I will do its own iron. So let's go into a sub factory, and this would be having on site one and then the other. Now, if I weren't running productivity, I'm going to, but if I weren't, these would be 260 each. But we are going to put productivity 3s in there, running at 230 instead of 260. And this lowers this guy, and this guy can now go with productivity, bring him down to 192. So yeah, I'm thinking direct insertion would mean having more factories running a lower fraction of the time, which means wasting energy on beacons and modules and so on. So I'm not going to do this. So yeah, this steel plate will just get his 40k of iron. Okay, next thing is iron. 285.7 for the rocket. And 98.62 for the science. And 39,171. 39,000 per minute into the assembly layer. And 946.7 per minute into the rocket fuel. Gives me a total requirement in iron for 50265.4. 430 electric furnaces. Now this covers both the 50k I need here plus the 40k I need there, giving us 90k of iron plate. This is 15 full belts of iron plate coming into steel. This is 28 full belts of iron ore coming into smelting. Turn into 33 full belts of iron plate, which are going to be going back out. This is where the scale of a 900 science per minute factory starts becoming obvious. These are going to be large, 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 and it's going to be many stations. It's going to be many trains. I may be moving my ores and my plates around in 8-wide trains at some point, which may mean reworking some of my stations if my iron plates are coming in at 8-wide trains. Or it may mean that I have some transshipment stations where maybe I have 8-wide plate trains coming out of the smelters going somewhere that puts them 4-wide. Or I just have a lot of stations loading up 1-4 trains full of plate and dispersing them. We'll work that out as I build the assembly layer. It should become clear what's going on there. Okay, so that has steel and iron and copper. Copper we need, let's not do that. Copper, we need items per minute, 500 copper for the rocket, and 2,500 for science. Is that all? Oh, right, because we're not counting all the things we need transitively. So 2,500 just going into science directly. So that's for military and automation. And the assembly layer is the 21,837,837. And rocket fuel itself requires 646. So the smelting layer now requires a total of, get the calculator out, 25,483. So 430 smelting iron, 230 smelting steel, 120 smelting copper. And 40 wagons a minute of iron coming in. So that's 2 wagons every 3 seconds, and 10 wagons per minute. So a wagon every 5 or 6 seconds of copper coming in. Okay, next thing we need is we need brick. Who needs brick? You need brick. So science needs let's double check this. No brick coming in here. We need 5.952 brick per minute in science. We do not need brick here. We do not need brick here. So this makes me wonder if maybe the users of brick here might want to do brick locally. Let's take a look at their sub-factories. This would require 12 electric furnaces on site making brick from twice as much stone as we had brick coming in. So let's centralize brick. So 5952, oops, oh come on. Brick, 5952. So nowhere near as big, but big enough. I mean, 30 machines is worth a station. So what I'd really like to do now is add up all of these sub-factories into a main factory. And find out for the total of all of these how much it adds up to. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here because I spent all this time doing planning, and when we come back in the next video I will start laying out train stations to provide the outputs of the assembly layer here, and then the outputs of the rocket fuel and the outputs of the smelting layer on the next one up. I'm also going to take a look at the tutorial of the factory planner real quick and get familiar with that so I can maybe make better use of the factory planner than I have. I'll see you in the next one.